What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And now that the first official season of Assault Rumble has concluded, we have received our ranking rewards because of that. I think this would be a good opportunity to actually do a review of the new game mode and kind of break down, the positives, the negatives, and the further improvements that they could potentially use in the future to make it just a more wholesome game mode for everyone to take part in. So this is what I got in terms of my results right here. Not too shabby considering I didn't have Legend Nami, I didn't have the 6+ Zora, and I also didn't have the Brook to give me more trusty character points. I think I honestly did okay, not too shabby. Could have done better, but I think it's alright, not too bad. Considering I think I only invested, in totality, the amount of gems I invested into the mode was, I think, around 5 to 6, maybe 7, like definitely less than 10. I didn't spend that many gems on it at all, and I think I got net back, I think I got around 30 to 40 gems back, so honestly seems pretty good. If it's going to be like a 5-day event, it comes out once a month, boom, you get like an extra 30 to 40 gems just by playing. It's pretty dope. Of course, it does come down to a lot of other different factors, which I'm sure we'll touch up on in today's video. So first thing I want to do is give you guys my first initial breakdown, and then I also made social media posts on my own YouTube channel, like the community post, and we also made a tweet about it. So we're going to discuss people's opinions on it, but I wanted to give you guys my breakdown in terms of what I thought initially. So I do think that Assault Rumble overall is a pretty good game mode. I think it's definitely better than the initial release of PKA, and I think it's a better release than Co-op Quest. Co-op Quest was pretty rough on release, and PKA was fine, but obviously things got really bad once we get to non-boosted metas, where, this is the time period where everyone gets access to characters because everyone's pulling on the anniversary Sugo Fest, and then you're going to acquire these characters, and because you have these characters, you get more trusty character points. But what happens when you're doing a month where you don't pull on these Sugo Fest? How's that going to feel compared to what this month is going to feel like? And I feel like it'll be interesting because it definitely has a much different experience. So again, we'll have to wait and see once it drops. But my pros is that I think it's actually fun. I think Rumble is a pretty good game mode in totality, and I think that the way that they've done this one is quite cool because I actually do prefer going against CPU enemies rather than other players' teams, because a lot of people will just make extremely toxic teams that are just really annoying to go against. But the fact that Bandai have gone out of their way to develop these teams, develop these bosses with interesting mechanics, you had different gimmicks you kind of had to worry about. With the Buggy fight, he had the ability to special reverse your characters. Whereas, on the Blackbeard fight, he does a ton of damage, but if you're able to action bind him, then that kind of makes the fight really easy. The Sakazuki fight was definitely the most tricky one in my opinion, but obviously if you build a good team, you can get through it. Honestly, I thought the rewards are pretty decent, as I touched upon. When we, got our rewards from this, I don't remember exactly what I got. It was either like 30 to 40 gems, I think it was. Like, it was actually pretty good. Like, a pretty good amount of rewards for reaching in this ranking, and the amount of gem investment that I spent into it, like, honestly, wasn't that much for the amount that I got back. So we'll see how that performs later on once we get different seasons, of course. And I do think the Chopper Man missions were relatively accessible and decent net rewards. So the cool thing about the Chopper Man missions is that they gave you a ton of those Rumble tickets, the red tickets that you can spend on your what's it called, the Gather Island, right? I think in total you got 12,000 of those tickets. Do you guys know how difficult it is to acquire 12,000 red Rumble tickets? It's actually going to take quite a while to do that. So the fact that this season, we don't know what the release schedule of Assault Rumble is going to be, but if it does end up being once a month, getting that many red tickets is going to be pretty cool, and you're going to be able to max out your Gather Island facilities pretty quickly, I think. Well, not pretty quickly, but a lot faster than what you would do just by playing normal Rumble. So I do like that. So I think that overall, Assault Rumble is a pretty good game mode, and I'm excited to see how they do it in the future. However, there is a pretty big negative that I found with Assault Rumble, and it's the trusty character multiplier. I think a lot of people would probably share the same sentiment as me. We haven't looked at the other people's messages yet on YouTube or on X, but yeah, the fact that the multipliers for trusty characters are so exorbitantly high, if you have them, the difference is absurd. Like, the amount of points that you are getting compared to other players is just absurd. It should not be that bad. It really should be who has the more optimal team, and if you're surviving longer, you're doing more damage, you're tanking more, that player should be well rewarded for developing a really overpowered team that can take on that boss, whereas there is another player who has a really terrible team, barely scrapes by, and then because they have all the boosters, they immediately beat the other player. Like, I get that there should be some kind of benefit to having these trusty characters, but I think that extending it all the way to these crazy multipliers that we've seen with the trusty characters, it's way too crazy. It shouldn't be that way. I really just wholeheartedly disagree with it. I get that there is a ranking with it, but honestly, if there was just no trusty character multiplier, this game mode would be far superior. I mean, yes, in a way, it's like the rich get richer, where you have these, like, endgame hardcore players that have fully developed and established Rumble teams. But, if those players are able to beat the boss effectively, they should be able to rank higher than a person who doesn't have a good team, but so happen to spend money on the Sugarfest, pull the new unit, and then boom, they're just better than everyone else. Like, I just think that's terrible. It's a really bad design for the game mode. So let's talk about some feedback. What can they do to actually fix this? My first point of feedback would to lower the multiplier of the trusty characters to make them less of a deciding factor. If a player has a more optimal team, they should be rewarded. I think that they should do that. The trusty character multiplier was way too high. Way too high. I think in terms of if they have like a full chunk of boosted characters, if you have all of them, the multiplier should only cap out at maybe 2x. I would prefer it to be lower than that. But they're probably not going to do that. But anyways, that's what I would like it to be. I think that if you have the trusty characters, yes, you should get some type of bonus, but the bonus that is currently implemented in the game is just crazy high. Crazy high. So that would be my first point. Secondary point, to change the enemies for each season. So the comparison that I made is with Co-op Quest, where Co-op Quest has suffered from this issue and makes the content very stale. Assault Rumble needs to change the gimmicks and the boss setups each season to keep it refreshing. So with this current season with Buggy, into Akainu, into Blackbeard, that's fine. I actually really enjoyed all three of those boss fights. But if we move on to next season, and it's Buggy, Akainu, and Blackbeard again, with just some color changes, that would be really disappointing. So I hope that they change it around, give us something refreshing, new bosses, new specials, new gimmicks, so you have to build new teams to take on these bosses. I think that would be a really nice thing to do. So of course, it's hard to really gauge how good this is going to be moving forward, but this would be a specific piece of feedback that I would give to the team, because Co-op Quest, I despise Co-op Quest. I love playing the PKA version of Co-op Quest. I think that's pretty fun, but going back and clearing those same missions every single month is like, bro, I hate it. It's just so annoying. Everyone runs the same teams to farm up those gems, and the rewards that you get from Chopper Man mission by completing like those missions where you have to beat it with a Dex Slasher Cerebral team or whatever it is, the rewards are terrible. They're really bad. So either they buff the rewards to make it worthwhile, or they just change the bosses. I mean, make it a little bit more fresh, you know what I mean? So yeah, they need to change bosses for sure. And then the final point, allow players to backtrack to whichever assault level that they want. As it stands now, once a player beats level 1, they cannot return back to that level. I think it would be a great change to assist new and returning players. Because, if you're a new player, you're not going to have the most well-established Rumble team out there. And, like, let's say you beat level 6, right? And then you move on to level 7. You might not even be able to beat level 7. Like, straight up. Like, it might be too hard for you. And then at that point, you're just kind of stuck. So I do think that having the capabilities of returning to past levels, I think would be a nice way to help out those new players or returning players that just don't have those crazy Rumble teams that other players have. So that's just my opinions on it, right? Let's move on to other people's opinions. So let's start off with our YouTube page. We'll give some priority to the YouTube members. So we'll go over here. Let me zoom in real quick so you guys can see what's going on. Love it. Provides another angle to Rumble. Not only a killed enemy, but also damage you can deal. Later on, they can add rules, like depending on how fast you kill the enemy, how long you can survive. It makes it more fun to play. Yeah, so adding like more conditions onto it would be kind of interesting. They already have a pretty decent condition with the way that things are kind of go with level max, where you have to build it with like certain colors or certain types and certain classes, and being able to, and even certain tags too, and being able to build teams in that manner, I think is honestly pretty good. But maybe this would be a much later on kind of thing. Pay to win game mode, fun until you hit the threshold of being punished for not buying gems. Yep, we kind of talked about this. This is a big issue. Has the fun RNG where next time you can potentially do more damage and set a new record. Trusty characters. Everyone has the same problem. Yep, 100%. Much better than the rubbish co-op mode. 100% factual information. Felt like another pay-to-win game mode with a power level between Daily Rumble and Grand Party. Yeah, I guess it is. It's kind of like a mix in a way. Not really, but it's just a different way to play. Something to do when you just log in. And the thing is, you can skip it too. So even if you don't want to sit there and wait all 100 seconds for your game to go, you can just skip it and let RNG take the wheel. I mean, look, it's all RNG at the end of the day. But yeah, the fact that there is the capability to exceed the damage that you previously did, reach those new records, and it feels good, honestly. When you beat your record, it feels like, yeah, damn, yeah, I did that. Even though you didn't really do anything. It's all RNG, but I think it's pretty cool. Because rewards are great for practically no effort. Yeah, this is something I saw when I was going through some comments on other YouTube videos. This one popped up, and yeah, I totally agree with this one, man. The fact that it doesn't really take much effort. You just build teams, you go for it, and boom, you get rewards at the end of the season, which I think is just really, really cool. I like it when you can make teams to somewhat compete. Second, it works much better than Grand Party, where you have a limited amount of tries and they make it worse per round. The fact that you can use a couple of gems to catch up, yeah. If you miss like the first day, you can just what I did when I first started, obviously, was I just used gems all the way to get to max level. Did like one rotation of max level, and then I was like, okay, I'm done. I'll wait till tomorrow for my next set of stamina, and that's just basically that. I think it's pretty good. Much better than other modes. Cough co-op. Yep, no one likes co-op. It's okay, just worry they'll start making Pyro Rumble Assault banners for each one will be required. Yeah, and I said, surely not. Surely they're not going to make a separate Rumble banner. They've already got a Rumble banner. Surely they're going to make another one that's like Assault Rumble Trusty Character Boosted Banner, whatever it's called. Surely they just don't do that. That would be so bad. It will be like what they did for PKA. Start off fairly nice mode to mess around with, and then they'll find a way to make us spend cash. Well, again, it depends on how crazy those trusty character things are, but at the end of the day, right, it doesn't take much effort to play Assault Rumble, so you can just build your teams, play Assault Rumble. Yes, you're not going to have trusty characters, but at the end of the day, you're still going to get a reward for doing it. It's just that if you have the trusty characters, you get more reward out of it. I get it, it's terrible, but at the end of the day, it's not much effort to get decent rewards out of it. You know, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Like, I totally agree with you. I don't like the trusty character system, but it doesn't take much effort to get, like, rewards out of it. So it's not that crazy at the end of the day. You just log in, do your runs, log out, and that's it. When the season's over, you get rewards. Yes, you could potentially get more rewards if trusty characters weren't a thing, but at the end of the day, you're still netting positive, right? You're still netting positive. Okay, I love it. Trusty characters a bit iffy. Again, everyone just seems to be on that same wavelength there. Lower the multiplier of trusty characters, yep, 100%. Farming Rumble tickets, yes, this was the big thing for sure. I agree with this one. A game mode where you do absolutely nothing. I mean, that's kind of true. You don't really have to do a whole lot. You just let the game run it for you. Really fun because you want to build teams as different regular PvP and GP. The only downside is that the boosters are way too important. Yeah, everyone pretty much agrees. Fun and easy, maybe require maybe 15 units. Very smart way to get people interested in Rumble. Yeah, because you're not going up against someone else. You're going up against a computer, right? You're not going up against, you know, Joe Blow, who's got freaking everything level 150 or whatever. This is like a new kind of way to play Rumble. And Rumble is a fan favorite mode, I would say. I think a lot of people like it. There's also a lot of people that don't like it, and that's fine. But the fact that there's just a new way to play, I think, is a really interesting thing. Trusty characters ruin the competition. Yep, 100%. We need the rewards. Yep, well, rewards are just dropped. I like it a lot. Need more variations. It was too easy. I don't know if it was too easy. That's the point. You're supposed to be able to beat it. And then how well you beat it is how you get your score. So I don't think that's a valid criticism, because I think it's supposed to be easy, right? It's supposed to be. You don't understand how to get more points. Well, the game tells you how to do it. A new player that is unsure exactly what content I should be playing. Okay. I think it's good being able to use gems for more players, and seems pay to win until you can't do any more damage. Definitely not even remotely close to how annoying GP is, that's for sure. Well, that's the thing about, like, you don't actually have to spend gems on this mode. A lot of people initially thought it was going to be like Kazuna Clash, where the more runs you do, the more points you accumulate, and then, like, it's doing like a cumulative stack of every run you do is giving you more points. It's not even like that, which I think is a smart thing, because if it was like that, everyone would hate it, because that on top of the trusty characters, it would be absurd. But with the way that it currently is, it's just whatever score you get, the max score you got on a boss is your total score. And you can't change that unless if you get a higher score, and that's your new score. And I think that is much better than run, stack a bunch of points, and then rank in that way, because, oh my god, that would be god-awful. That would be so bad. It would be a massive gem sink as well, because you just keep refreshing stamina. Thankfully, it's not like that. But if it's always based on new units, the game will be dead. Not necessarily true, but we obviously know that the trusty character list is terrible. This one I saw when I was going through comments as well on my other YouTube videos. It said, it's not game-changing or revolutionary in any way, but I found it pretty fun. They could do some seasons where the max level is not 10, but something like 30 or more, and it lasts for a week or two to vary. I thought that's a pretty interesting take. So max level is level 10, but if you make it level 30, then you gotta grind all the way up to level 30, and then potentially at level 30, like obviously the bosses are gonna be crazy difficult, but you'll be able to get way more points that way. So I think that would be interesting, because I mean, someone just mentioned before that the game was too easy. So if you have that ability to just increase the amount of damage that these bosses are doing, or the amount of health that they have, that would be an interesting way about it. But it looks like most people agree with the trusty character system. An option to battle friends. I've been asking this since Rumble has come into the game. We still do not have a way to go to our friends list and battle one of our friends' teams. I don't know why. That is literally one of the #1 things I've been wanting for a long time. So we got Shiro here saying, kind of boring. Only good thing about the mode is the free rewards by spending not even 5 minutes. I mean, this is just the net positive of the game mode. Added a twist or something to make it more distinct compared to the other PvP modes. I mean, they kind of have. The team builds that you're going up against are unlike any other Rumble team that you come up against. It just feels like single-player Rumble matches, but with a skip button. I don't necessarily agree, because I do think it is basically normal Rumble with a twist, in a way. I guess they could have made it somewhat more unique in some fashion, but like if they go too crazy like what Grand Party was, everyone's just gonna hate it. So I think what they did was pretty fine, because it doesn't take much investment, doesn't take much time, and overall you get rewards out of it, and I found it to be pretty fun, all things considered. Better than World Tournament from Dokkan. I mean, it's just a different thing. It's just a different thing. It's nothing like World Tournament. I don't think that's a very fair comparison. You don't like Rumble at all, GP either, but Assault Rumble was hella fun. So that's interesting to see that, you know, people, even though they don't like normal Rumble, they liked Assault Rumble. So, I mean, that goes to show that, like, Assault Rumble, even though it may seem similar to the other Rumble modes, people are preferring it over normal Rumble and Grand Party. Maybe because it's got a skip button and it doesn't have the annoying Grand Party things. Potentially, that could be the reason why, right? It'd be nice if the mode relied on your Rumble team skills and not having to pull the month batch for multipliers. Again, we all agree. Any other content? It's good when you have the units. Again, I think it's fine, because you still get good rewards even without having the units. I agree, the trusty character thing either needs a lower multiplier or removed completely, would make the game mode far superior. Way too easy. I don't think that's a fair point. I think it's supposed to be easy. Especially because it's an extra way to earn Rumble tickets, 100%, scrolls, and a little amount of bounty. Yep, pretty good. Just like normal Rumble, absolutely suck at this game mode. Yeah, I mean, it depends on your character box, of course, so that sucks. Too much modes, okay? I don't like Rumble, but 3 is too much. I would prefer no new game modes this year, but instead new arenas or Coliseum. I mean, this is kind of true, though. New arenas or Coliseum would be gladly appreciated. I'm sure the player base would love that, but we know that's not going to be happening. Adds nothing important to the game, needs a permanent farmable island where you can unlock unlimited limit break materials to get all 6+ skulls. All the keys, including golden keys, and one big farmable PvE island, make it a Coliseum 2.0. I mean, this is a crazy kind of suggestion. I don't think they'll ever do this. I mean, you basically have to play Treasure Map to get this, you play Kizuna to get this. Golden keys, I honestly don't even know where to get golden keys anymore. I just feel like I farmed a bunch when they were more accessible way back in the day, and I haven't needed any since. But I know that for newer players who want golden keys, they're not that accessible. You have to complete, is it in the PK missions or something? I don't even know these days, man. It's crazy. Too short, having only 2 days to play max rank makes me want to use gems to play extra. Okay, that's actually a fair point. Yeah, because if you are only using the natural stamina, yeah, it actually does take quite a few days to actually get to level 10. So there's no real way around that. You basically have to use a gem to get there faster, and that's basically it. So yeah, I agree. This is a pretty fair criticism that it's too short, because you only get a couple days at that max level. Yeah, this is not a bad piece of feedback, honestly. This is pretty good. I dig this one. dog shit whale mode like GP. It's nothing like GP for sure, but it is definitely like a more whale mode if you want to rank high, that is. Besides the fact that how many gems can you spend in a day simulator? Not necessarily. Boosted units plus burning gems. This is not a burning gems mode, so this is just incorrect. Boring, and it sucks. Worst anniversary ever. I mean, this is just incorrect. This is by far and away not the worst anniversary that Treasure Cruise has ever had. Okay, so that's from the YouTube people. Interesting feedback there. I'm assuming that on X we'll get very, very similar messages here. Let's zoom in and have a look. So Pappy says, right idea, wrong execution. Cool concept, RNG dependent. Also add an attempt to add more value to end of month legends. Only consume max stamina if you beat your high score. I think this is a really cool idea too. So it allows you to continuously play over and over and over again until you beat your score, and then it uses your stamina. I don't know if that's going to be a little bit too OP, because you could literally just play infinitely without having to spend a gem. I don't know if that's their goal that they wanted to do. I like this idea personally as a player, but I don't know on Bandai's side whether that's a good thing. I like it though. At max level, let the player pick the boss they want to challenge. I think that is also a really good idea, because if you only want, if you know for a fact that you can get a better score against Buggy, and then you have to beat Sakazuki and Blackbeard to get back to Buggy, that's annoying as shit. So I do agree that being able to just pick one boss that you want to continuously go against, I think is a very, very good idea. 100% agree with this one from Pappy. It shouldn't keep you on a stage that you failed. I actually think the rotation is a bad idea. Just let players choose which stage they want to improve on. I agree with this, but only on the max level. I think if you're grinding up from 1 to 10, I think you do have to take on each boss in their rotation, but I think once you get to max assault level, I agree. You should be able to pick which boss you want to go up against. I completely agree with that. I wish I could have spent 3 tries every day on Blackbeard since it was my weakest score thus far. Yeah, same with me. Blackbeard was the one I struggled to do the most damage on. I did see what the most optimal team was for that, was like being a shooter focused team. I didn't even have the characters that the team could was actively using, which kind of sucked, but you know, that's that. We got Green here, says, I'm not a big Rumble player, but this is my favorite Rumble mode easily. I like the team building part of each boss. The skip button makes them just speed through like GP, and it's another Alliance event. All in all, I think it's a good addition. Yeah, 100% agree with this one from Green. Alright, so we've got cool game mode. It's just kind of do as much damage as you can, and that's basically it. I was hoping for it to be more strategic, even more alliance-based, at least than just gathering points. I think that's an interesting call. Like, if there were more alliance elements to the mode, you know how like in Kizuna Clash and Super Boss, you know, you can, find your friends that have failed their mission, you can help them out, and, you both get rewarded for it. Or in a Super Boss where you have more alliance people in your run, you get more total damage. So it would be interesting if there is some kind of way to help out alliance members to give them a buff during Rumble, and then you could potentially increase their damage or heal them or something like that in the middle of a Rumble match. I think something like that would allow, players that potentially don't have more established teams to not only beat bosses for the first time, but potentially increase their max score. But of course, people would be able to abuse that in the higher levels, and those really high OP team builders with crazy alliance members would be able to just beat everyone with their crazy shenanigans if that was the case. But yeah, I do think it's not a terrible idea, to be honest. I got Sargo saying, dude, how do I even play this? I want to get back into Treasure Cruise, but I couldn't even find Assault Rumble anyway when I logged in over the past week. I mean, I don't know what to say, bro. It's a Rumble game mode. You click the Rumble button and it's right there. We got Zora Fangirl saying, cool game mode, but maybe I'm the problem. We need huge investment to improve every unit in the game. Yeah, I will admit there's a lot of bad units in Rumble, but there's also quite a lot of good units. But I'd say there's definitely more bad units than good. It feels really bad when there's like a lot of older Sugofest exclusives that just have borderline useless abilities. And we haven't had a good Rumble buff in a while, because they like to buff units that are already like Rumble focused characters when they really should give buffs to non-Rumble focused units, So I agree. We need more Rumble buffs for sure. It was good, but the trusty character system is ruining it. Yeah, we all pretty much agree. So there's that. That's the breakdown of Rumble from you guys out there as well as me. So let me know your thoughts and opinions as well. I'm sure that you guys probably have more info and more feedback to give down below in the comment section for those of you who didn't see my social media post. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about Assault Rumble. I think honestly it's a pretty good start to the mode. There definitely can be some improvements, but I think as it stands right now, it's a pretty decent addition to One Piece Treasure Cruise. Hopefully you enjoyed it though. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.